Hello everyone and welcome to Grinds Online Ireland. I'm Tara and today we're going to be doing some derivatives using the sign, the quotient and the product rule. So our question today is find the derivative of the following function. Y is equal to x multiplied by the square root of 1 plus 3x. Now guys, usually maths is all about getting rid of what we don't like. And in this case, I don't like that square root. So I'm just going to rewrite that square root as 1 plus 3x to the power of a half. Now, this formula is definitely not in our log tables, so we can't just use it the quick way. And when it's not in our log tables, we're going to have to use one of our three rules: the product, the quotient, or the chain. Now, looking at this question here, guys, doesn't it kind of make sense to say that we have two functions being multiplied by each other? We have an x multiplying the 1 plus 3x to the power of a half. And whenever we have two functions multiplying each other, to find the derivative, we use the product rule. To find the product rule then, our first step is to write out our two functions, u and v. So u in this case is x, and v in this case is 1 plus 3x, all to the power of a half. Next step for the product rule is to find du dx and dv dx. So du dx is easy, that's just equal to 1. But dv dx, what's that going to be? That's not in my log tables. And if we kind of look at that again slowly, we can see that that's a function inside a function, isn't it? So to find the derivative of v dv dx, we're going to have to kind of bring it to the side and use the chain rule because it's a function inside a function. Our inside function then, in this case v, or we'll call this v2 because we already have a v, that's going to be 1 plus 3x. Our outside function then, u2, that's going to just be v, because remember, our outside function has to be in terms of v to the power of a half. Our next step then for the chain rule, guys, and if you're uncertain about the chain rule, always go back to the other videos that include it. We're going to have dv2 dx, that's just simply equal to 3. And then we're going to have du2 over dv2. And remember, because it's in terms of v2, the v2 goes at the bottom. That's going to be a half of v2 to the power of minus a half. And our chain rule says to find the derivative, we multiply these two derivatives together. And if we do that, then we're going to get dv dx, which was this up here. That's going to be equal to 3 multiplied by a half, multiplied by v2 to the power of minus a half. And remember, it has to be in terms of x. So whatever I had for v2, I'm going to substitute in now for x. So in this case, then we're going to get 3 over 2 multiplied by 1 plus 3x to the power of minus a half. So that's the derivative of 1 plus 3x to the power of a half. That's the derivative of that v up there. So now I can go back up to where I originally was and substitute that in for dv dx. So we're going back up to the red, and we now know that this derivative was equal to 1 plus 3x to the power of minus a half. Now we have to kind of go back a bit now. So why were we doing that? We were doing that because here we were using the product rule for two functions, weren't we? For one for the x, and the other was the 1 plus 3x to the power of a half. But to find the derivative then of that 1 plus 3x to the power of a half, we had to jump to the blue and solve this using the chain rule. And then we're going to bring that back now and we're going to complete our product rule. And remember, our product rule then will tell us dy dx, that's simply equal to u dv dx plus v du dx. And if we substitute everything in there, we're going to get u, which is x, multiplied by 3 over 2, 1 plus 3x to the power of minus a half, because that's what we have for dv dx, plus v, which is 1 plus 3x to the power of a half, multiplied by du dx, which is just equal to 1. So we can tidy up a small bit maybe and just write it as 3x over 2, 1 plus 3x to the power of minus a half plus 1 plus 3x to the power of a half. So the derivative then of y is equal to x multiplied by the square root of 1 plus 3x is this horrible function down here. And if I were you, I wouldn't bother simplifying it because you'll probably make a mistake somewhere, but you will 100% get full marks for that.